Are you ready? You won't be needing those here. Welcome to the Enclave.
Hey, Twitch. Nice to see you. My name's Lee. I'm here at with Dice Dragons Guild, who are so graciously letting me host a game of Enclave. You might have seen a friend of mine, Robbie Howell, here a couple times presenting the game. Really excited to show you a different style of running, even though we're pretty similar. And I have some two lovely players with me today. Can we introduce ourselves? Justine, if you would mind starting.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Cheese Cat. I'll be playing Justine YL tonight, as per usual, because she's the most awesomest wanderer in the entire multiverse. Yeah, she's a wanderer. She's awesome. She's Arabic in origin from about the 1930s of our timeline. Um, Professional dancer, extraordinaire. She has a scimitar. Yes, it's sharp, just like her wit.
All good things. I'm excited. I'm excited to finally see her with a sword in her hand. And then we have our wonderful other player who could introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Mo. I am very new to this, but I am excited to try it out and learn as I go. My character's name is Hayes. No last name. And he is a cowboy. Uh, he has a horse named Roach, and that's like just about all that you need to know about him.
Wonderful. Well, since you are new, Mo, and since some of you out there might be new as well, let me tell you a little bit about Enclave. Enclave is a diceless role-playing game. It is, we even call it tableless at times, where all of the gameplay, all of the interaction is all facilitated just through dialogue between players and myself, which is what we refer to as a conduit instead of a GM or a DM. And it is set in a infinite world known as Manifold, wherein all sorts of eras and settings exist, but don't always coalesce or connect. And our players are mercenaries employed by this organization known as the Enclave, who's able to sort of move through this barriers of worlds. And today we have a interesting little mission that I have concocted, especially since for a new player. So let me give you a quick breakdown of what we got going on. The two of you, Justine and Hayes, are being sent to a nation known as Conduit. It is a nation of wide tropical jungle, and it is currently undergoing a bid for succession. The current diarchy, helmed by the individuals Mashgadin and Tonra, have chosen that they wish to abdicate their throne. They have ruled for a decent enough time for their desires, and they've chosen that instead of giving it to, and specifically their own heirs, they would offer it to literally anyone as long as they could do one thing. The the current rulership of Conduit will be granted to anyone who is able to find a way to get two quarreling city-state neighbors known as Malmin and Sinkar, and I'll put these in the chat for my lovely players so they don't have to remember all my silly words, who have been at odds for some time. One of these successors is the son of one of the current diarchs. His name is Prince Zargadin, and he has been able to broker a political marriage between two nobles between these two city-states. The couple to be are Princess Phranis and Prince Monsus. They are, given that there are tensions between these two factions at play, they they decided that the wedding should be held in Conduit, in sort of middle ground, neutral territory. You have been hired because Zargadin truly has no idea what to expect from the families of these two individuals, and is worried that they are going to start a row, if not worse. You are effectively being sent as peacekeepers. You are, you are to stay just until the vows have been said. Though vows aren't, it's not our traditional marriages that we're used to, but it will be fairly obvious. At which point, the Enclave will be able to remove you, to get you out safely. Questions, comments, concerns?
No. Wait, we're peacekeepers, right? We're bodyguards, basically.
Effectively, you are. Yes, effectively, you are. You are being sent in to deal with any hubbub that might occur.
Did they have an advertisement in the paper or something? Why were we chosen as bodyguards?
Well, well, you were. They Zargadin asked the Enclave, "Hey, send some people that you think might be useful here," and to which they have sent the two of you.
All right, I'm just gonna assume that I'm in it for the money.
Yup. Hey, that's a
Just-
valid
Most of us
reason.
are.
Money good. Remember, kids, get paid for your contract work.
That's right.
So, but yeah, so yeah, there's you've been chosen because the Enclave decided that your skill sets would work for this.
All right. That's about it for my questions.
Cool beans. Anything on your end, Justine?
Um,
No one.
so we've got the
Drop.
Diceless that want to step down just because they're tired.
Basically,
Okay. Fair enough.
they are old. They are old.
Yeah.
They're at the point of diminishing returns of age.
Right. And then the Prince Tsar dude, he's wanting to take that throne through this assignment of getting these two opposing like municipalities to unite.
Yes.
All right. Do we know how the prince and princess or the opposing royalties feel about each other?
They have been sworn enemies for a very long time, predating the diarchy's formation. The only reason that this is happening is because both Franus and Monsus want this. They are the consensual parties. The families are both not too keen.
So it wouldn't. We wouldn't say that this is kind of like a shotgun wedding.
No, this. Yeah, what's the opposite of a shotgun wedding? Effectively, this is like an
Holding the
anchor wedding.
shotgun.
This is an anchor wedding. They're down for it, and everyone else is getting dragged with.
Yeah, I like it. All right, yeah, that's it for me.
All right. So in that case, we are now going to move sort of from this, this pre-mission phase to what we call assembly. Assembly is where the two characters get to sort of meet character, talk a little, introduce themselves before they are both sent in directly to, teleported in directly to the action, to the locale. So Who would like to have arrived at Enclave HQ first?
But Justine's typically fashionably late, so.
All right, Mo.
Uh,
You have made your way to Enclave HQ, a large edifice that is sort of hard to define on the outside, but upon entering, you were brought by Enclave attendants, these individuals in long sort of simple and sort of indistinct clothes, all in shades of gray, to this sort of waiting area with chairs, couches, and table, and sort of four wall room, no inkling of color to be seen, everything in simple gray shades. You've been there a couple minutes, at which point the door opens and a new person enters.
So you see Justine sweep into the room. Justine is a medium brown skinned woman of, again, Arabic descent, long, beautiful, thick, black, curly hair, turquoise eyes. Today, she's wearing her scimitar at her hip and a more modest dress than our audience would know her for. There's a traditional Egyptian dress that's used in Raksharki dance. It's full length, high collar, long sleeve. Um, Today's colors are gold and green. So the fabric is gold and green striped vertically. Hello. You're a new face here. As she sticks out her hand to shake this mystery person's hand.
Oh, Mo's having some audio. They'll be back in just a moment.
Do 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 do. Do 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 dum dum.
All right, everybody, pens down. We got a show our answer.
What is blank notebook page?
What is 2d20s? I don't have paper. Technical difficulties.
We gotta love them.
Who did that? You gotta love them.
While we're holding, does anyone have any plans to attend Gen Con?
Oh, I have never been. When and where?
Gen Con is August 1st through the 4th in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, it's so far away.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can swing that. It does sound cool. Actually, I truly know nothing about Gen Con though. What's its vibe?
It'll be my first time going, but it's like our country's biggest gaming convention. Always packed. And there's going to be some really cool people there this year, including myself.
What you doing there? Just hanging
I
about?
I will be meeting my partner, who I've been in a long distance relationship with for over a year, for the
That's
first
so
time in person
wonderful.
and meeting my favorite Pathfinder podcast. Big
Oh,
shout
somebody
out
needs
to
to
Find the Path. I
Shout out to
love
Find
those
the Path.
guys. Yes.
And
And
a ton of my friends have been trying to get me into that, so this is
yes,
enough. This is enough to drag me into anything. I know what I'm doing.
highly recommend. If you like Pathfinder, Rick Sandich is probably the best GM. He knows his rules and he integrates and incorporates so easy. He's just he's a master at his craft.
That's always a phenomenal thing when you can when you encounter someone who's just very good at the thing that they can do. Oh,
Oh yeah.
are they?
Hello, sorry.
Are we back?
Yay!
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you guys for some reason, so I had to leave and rejoin.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Where did you leave us off?
Introductions. I didn't even get past that.
All right. So yeah, Justine has offered a hand and introduced herself. And as you respond, can you tell us what Hayes looks like?
Hayes is a typical cowboy. Brown hair, brown eyes. He does not look remarkable in any way. He has a cowboy hat and a bunch of guns on his hip. I guess the only like recognizable feature, we'll say that he has a scar on his left cheek. Okay.
Right.
Well,
Justine Wyell. It's a pleasure to meet a new face here at HQ.
The name's Hayes. Pleasure to meet you, madam.
Is this your first mission?
I am mighty confused at everything in the world, so maybe.
Well, welcome. You will be, I believe, my third first timer.
You've had 3 first times? I only
Indeed.
thought you could have 1 first time. That's why it's the first.
Well, when it's a new person, it's a new first.
Oh, okay.
I've never worked with you before, so yes, you are my third first time.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I won't make any guarantees, but we both should make this out very well. I don't foresee that either of us will be dying today.
I don't. I do hope so because I got a horse to get back to. He is the best horse ever, and I can't leave him by himself. He has attachment
he's here in the
issues.
room. You do see
My
that,
horse is in the room with me.
yeah, as you came in, they made sure to leave the door, spacious enough that you can get your horse in. They're not leaving you horseless.
That's good because he has attachment issues and he needs to stay with me at all times.
Yeah, you can see that at the moment he's sort of, he's standing off to the side. There's a little bit of horse feed sort of put out for your horse named Roach, but like every now and then they take a bite and sort of look to you, take a couple steps, then go back to eating.
I'm mighty confused on it, just about everything in the world. So I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna try and do my best, Justine.
Well, I'm sure we'll be just fine. Although I don't recall any of the teleportation bays being big enough for a horse. I'm sure they've made an accommodation for you. Our employers are very accommodating. Do
Yeah,
you?
our employers, the what is it, Prince?
Oh, no, that's who has requested our services from our employers here at the Enclave. And the prince, she looks down at her little mission sheet. Zargadine, he has requested the services of us, well, the Enclave. Uh, so it's just there may be times when I am not near to you on this mission. I do have a tendency to sneak off and see what I can see. I work really well with others, but also mostly independent. But knowing that this is your first, I will try not to leave you alone for too very long.
It's okay. I'm used to being by myself. Roach has run off about 10 times now. Uh, but he has attachment issues, so he always comes back sooner or later.
What a magnificent horse.
Oh. At this point, as you're discussing, an enclave attendant sort of approaches seemingly from the corner of the room, and says to you in a sort of low but audible and sort of even keeled voice, Agents, the two of you would please make your way to the teleportation pods. And a door on the other side of the room slides open.
And as we are walking forward, Justine has made good on her threat to get giant googly eyes for this faceless attendant. She reaches in to her skirt of many pockets and pulls out two gigantic googly eyes and slaps them on its head because she can never tell where the face is. She just wants him to have a face.
With a deft and planned motion, I'm guessing they have little they're like adhesive or like suction cups on the bottom.
Yeah.
And with a resounding little, they stick on to the head of this poor enclave attendant, who sort of takes a light step back in response to the stimuli, faces down towards you, puts a hand towards the doorway. If you please. The Google eyes.
With that, Justine will start walking.
I forgot about this promise. I know Robbie mentioned that to me a while ago, and I was like, oh, right. That's a thing. Well, you caught me unawares. He's going to have that forever now. All right. With that, the two of you you make your way to the next room, a sort of a simple circular room on which there are two sort of like raised platforms. One of them is big enough for a horse. As the two of you step on your sort of demarcated pads, you hear of that a very similar voice sort of speak out from above you, formless and sightless. Agents, please prepare for teleportation. As you slowly feel your bodies begin to dissociate, starting first the extremities of your bodies, your fingers, reaching up across your body, your limbs, until slowly it begins to overwhelm your other senses, your hearing disappearing, your sense of smell, finally your sense of sight, as it shifts from the simple gray room around you to a swirling kaleidoscope of rainbow and beautiful essence colors that then collide back as you find yourselves in the center of well, effectively a somewhat domed over caldera, Around you are large, sort of like looming, sort of rock structure. You can see directly above there is a decently sized, maybe 20-foot diameter hole that sort of peers up into beautiful crystal sky, and the sun is beating down through this opening. And all around are these large sort of stone caryatids, or statues in the form of people, carved and sort of holding up the roof structure you are within. And stood around it are various sort of tents and pavilions. You see benches with food. You see tables. You see dancers. You begin to hear the sound of music, though it is discordant, as there's two sources, one from each side of this space, as it is very, very clearly divided. One side, the tents and pavilions are much, much more simple linen and to be a lot wider, sporting sort of blues and yellows. The other, much more formed, thicker beams of wood holding up a very, very large pavilion with more sort of purples and reds. You see about you all different kinds of garb. One much more loose, much more sort of less form fitting, a bit more adorned with shells and precious stone. The other much more conservative, with hats and sort of black sashes and large gold medallions. You can clearly see the divide between these two nations, even at a stood about a few 10 or so feet in front of you is another man, not matching either of these garbs. He is wearing simple traveling gear, almost sort of befitting the late Renaissance period, though it is much more well embellished, and he's wearing a simple cuirass, currently standing with a sword at his side, and a what looks like a large alpaca that he is currently feeding. And his current and clean shaven face, save for sort of like long sideburns. Who's currently looking exactly in your two's direction, and for some reason my headphones keep sliding off the back of my head today. As you two take form, the man sort of starts and, well, I'm guessing that you two must be the Enclave, no?
Roach, that llama sort of looks like your cousin.
The llama sort of turns and just I do not know if they hold relations in blood, but I am not a scientist. Zargadin, pleasure to make your acquaintances. Who have they sent me?
And Justine
Oh.
Wayo.
I'm Hayes. I don't remember my last name.
That is unfortunate. I wish you a speedy recovery. So I do not know what they told you. Let me be very clear. This is the coldest of shoulders I've witnessed. uh, I've so far the two parties are keeping distance from each other, but the formalities are going to start ensuing. The bride and groom are going to be meeting, and at that I'm worried there is going to be trouble. So whatever you can do to stem the ire of these people, by all means, I beg of you your assistance.
I will do my best in whatever it is that you need me to do.
What exactly do you think might happen?
Well, not to be blunt about it. He's sort of like he very actively leans against the large llama next to him, who seems not to care. Uh, well, normally when people from these two nations interact, it is either on the battlefield or row. It's tense. It is very tense. I was lucky enough in my travels to discover that there was, to put it simply, forbidden love between the lord and the lady who had met at the courtship in Conduit. They like each other, but they are sworn enemies. People have written stories about this. It's just rare it happens. So far, the two parties have kept to themselves. They have not then cross into he sort of points back. There is sort of effectively a sectioned off square in the center, about 30 foot by 30 foot, which does have what looks like, you're not too familiar with any of the cultural elements at play, but there is something that kind of looks like an altar. It's a large carven stone slab. There's multiple sort of bits of iconography, sort of all across it, and there are two. There seem to be two bowls on either side, each sort of hand carven out of stone. Neither have entered the festivity proceedings as well. They brought their own retinues and are holding their own courts. The the bride and groom have been able to talk, but no one else wants to. They're all very mad at me. He sort of like turns, and you do notice that there's a bruise that is slowly forming on his lower chin.
Mm.
That's yeah. I am persona non grata here. So that is about all. I mean, I'm sure I can give you more, but you're newcomers. I doubt they'll try and hit you. We can hope.
No. The musicians that each section has brought, each faction, are they also sworn enemies?
The musicians are all hired. The, the I'm sure that some of them are from either of the nations, but they're getting paid to play music and enjoy each other. Troubadours and the like tend to have better camaraderie than lords and ladies. So perhaps, uh, perhaps they are more willing to talk to one another. But I do not know. That was not something I considered.
Oh, maybe I can get them to form one full orchestral combination because this discordance is driving me insane.
Yes, yes. He sort of pulls out a small piece of what looks like llama fur or alpaca fur from one ear. Yes, it's very annoying. I'm trying to listen to what I like more. Stuffs it back in. Yeah, well, if that is an adventure that you wish to undertake, by all means, I want this to succeed very much. It means I would take the throne, but also it means that we might be able to keep these people from killing each other, right? So anything I can do to lend either of you some assistance, by all means, I am at your beck and call.
So this is all happening because the two families don't like each other. Is this like Romeo and Juliet?
I don't know these figures. Sure.
Yeah, it's a famous tale in my hometown about a stack of a stack of hay and a horse. The horse's name was Romeo. Eventually, he ate Juliet, but I'm hoping that that doesn't happen with this couple here.
He he hits you with like the deepest just like 1,000-yard stare into your soul of like, all right, uh, you know, let's avoid cannibalism. No, that's not fun. So, right, well, if that is all, I'm going to see if there's someone who'll talk to me who won't hit me. Uh, I take my
Good
leave.
luck with
And
that.
he
You
sort
have a
of
very punchable face.
he's like, I thank you.
I'm sure you must get
And
that a
he
lot.
uh, turns on a heel. It's like, are you? Did I do something to offend you? That was that was very targeted. You know, not my
No,
problem.
I have no filter. I've been told that I'm very blunt.
Oh, okay, they're right. And he walks away.
It was a pleasure, Prince.
You yourself, Miss Well.
Oh, Hayes?
I think that went well.
It went. Shall we?
After you.
And we'll start making our way down. Justine is definitely going to start looking for the entertainers to try to bring people together.
For sure, and that's not too hard at all. You do see that as you sort of like take stock of the proceedings. They each have a small-ish band set up somewhat a little bit centralized on their side, on one side or another of their little encampments. The one side, the side with more sort of like the more blues and golds, are you see they seem to be, the music is a little bit more Mediterranean. It's the rhythms tend right now they're playing in seven. So this it's got more of this of this vibe, this feel is going through it. A lot more like woodwinds and sort of, and even like shell horns. You're noticing a lot of sort of like sea motifs in on their camp. The other is a lot more brassy. A lot, there's heavy drums. There's more harsh sounds. There's an individual who is singing. The language is incredibly sort of guttural and harsh, and sort of like dips into throat singing at times. So yeah, you can point them out pretty easily. You do see that people have effectively set up open flames to cook on. There's spits. There's even like sort of like a proto like barbecue smoker kind of thing. Seems to be made of bronze instead of iron or steel.
Are there dancers?
There are well there aren't dancers as in like other performers or just people dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't at the moment you don't see any like uh dancers, like performatory dancers on the sort of more to like brassy side, the red side. Blue side, yeah, I did red blue color code this and didn't even consider that. Oopsie daisy. We love them. The blue side, you do see that there are they're not it's not like they're the center of the entertainment, but there are three individuals in sort of very flowy white, almost gowns is the best way to describe it. Very long, all going all the way down to the ground. These sort of like white linens with various sort of like very simple embroidery across the collar, and they have their sleeves also go all the way to the ground. You see that they are as they dance, they sort of drag the sleeves with them to make these patterns. You see that they all it's sort of there's as they're doing this very beautiful like spinning dance. There's the people around them are also dancing. Their dance, however, is a bit more different. It's all couple focused. There and all pretty much all the men doing the exact same thing. They are standing tall on their tiptoes with their arms to the side, sort of effectively, sort of guarding the woman as the woman sort of moves across and dictates the flow of things. It's very fluid. But yeah, there's dancing on this side. You don't see as much on the other.
Is it like immediately obvious who our employers are? Like they're just like dressed super fancy and everything.
Taking a look around, what would you be? Yeah, you do actually you definitely like people here are all dressed well. There's a lot of adornments, but there are a couple people who are who stand out to you when you as you try to make that distinction. Uh, there's there's a man. Hold on, just make sure I'm saying the right places. Uh, yep. There's a man on the sort of the red camp, current who's wearing overall less conservative clothing than everyone else. You see that he's wearing sort of a long tunic that goes down to about shin length, V sort of V cut into it, exposing his chest. And there's a set of a very thick gold bracelets running up the entirety of his left arm, so all the way to the shoulder, where there is a very beautiful but very cumbersome pauldron that is seated there. You see, it is inlaid with gems and like little pieces like bronze castings. It's very ornate, and he's the only person wearing this. Um, he's currently in a seems to be in a very heated discussion with a few older people, a couple older people. On the other side, there's one woman who is the only person wearing any sort of head covering or headdress. She's wearing a simple veil with a set of beads running, sort of like lining the lower part of it. It is hooked up to it. It is sort of hitched onto a simple silver circlet.
And I'm just here in this party with a horse, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, oddly enough, there's actually a good deal amount of mounts about. They all had to, get to this space. So you see that there are a good number of animals nearby. Most, there are horses. You do see that there are a set of large bulls, sort of flanking the side of the Red Camp's pavilion with giant saddles hooked up to them. They don't look like harnesses; they look like saddles. Like you can see stirrups.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make my way towards the richest looking people in this room.
Sure. You care red or blue, right or left?
I think it was the blue that was like the super rich ones, right?
They all look quite wealthy. So your choice.
I'll go blue. I'll go with my instincts.
All right. You start making your way. You start making your way over there. And Justine, actions on your end.
And it was which camp's got the white flowy veil dancers?
Those are that's the one that the sort of like the blue pavilions, blue and gold pavilions.
Okay. Since they already have, I think I'll actually go to the red and purple and start making my way towards the band.
Absolutely. For now, I'm going to stick with you. You begin to make your way over towards towards this camp. Immediately as you get closer, you begin to get these very strong spice aromas from all the cooking that's going on. You pass by the circle of caryatids that are sort of the main thing that's outlining where these people are standing. A an individual, a large barrel chested, sort of big belly guy with a very thick greased black mustache approaches you, sort of putting a hand for a moment on a mace that is currently tucked at his side. He says, "Who are you?"
Justine Wayo, interdimensional multiverse dancer of much renown. And yourself?
"I'm Hup.
Huh?
Hup."
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm looking to speak with the band.
"By all means." They're over there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
And he will sort of like waves you in a little bit.
as she's like parallel with him, if he's, giving her the eye, she'll drop a wink. Just a sassy little wink with her thank you and a little twitch in the hips.
You give him a wink, and he does sort of like, you see, underneath the very dour appearance he's giving, you see just a little bit of blush.
Good.
As you make your way by. As you, a good number of people do begin to sort of like look about each other, speak in hushed tones. Like you hear, like, "Yeah, who is this?" There are a few other people. Just you hear some people remarking about your clothes as well. It's like, "Oh, look at that!" And especially the coins all on your skirt.
Are quiet right now because I can walk with them silently. So that must be like mind blowing to everybody.
Oh yeah, people are you see the look of, I saw her before I heard her. What?
Everyone,
you're able to.
Everyone that I walk by, if we meet eyes, I just give a simple head nod and a slight wave. So I just walk with purpose straight up to the band leader.
Yep. No one stops you. A few people definitely do sort of like nod. There's definitely some, like speculation, you caution your gazes, that sort of thing. But no one stops you, no one approaches you, no one demands your attention as you make your way to the band. The band leader is, you can sort of get like, as you get closer, you can sort of get the vibe that the band leader is the woman who is singing. She's definitely sort of like conducting a bit as she's going through the motions, and she sees you approaching and sort of shifts her hand a little bit. You see people sort of go into more of like neutral, keep up this beat, and she pulls out a water skin. How can I help you, huh?
Well, first, let me introduce myself. Justine Bayel. I am a professional dancer.
I feel like I've heard that. Well, you're sure looking. That's
Why?
phenomenal garb. You're not local, are you?
No, fresh in for this
Me
wondrous
neither,
event.
sister. She corks the water skin. Well, yeah, I mean, if you got any requests, I'd be happy to, do what I can. I might not know the song, but hey.
I do have a request.
Sure.
I think we need to get this entire party kicked off correctly with everyone dancing with one another. And what better way than to have both bands collaborate? I love your vocals, especially when you start going into the throat singing. That was just transcendent.
Well, my mother taught me that. She was, we didn't come from most well off ways, but we traveled a lot, especially through mountainous lands, and it echoes off the peaks. So, well, I mean, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. So,
Ah,
what do you have in mind?
well, one dance that always brings people together at the royal weddings of Arabia is where the two bands come together, agree on a beat, agree on a melody, and we have all of the participants alternating, touching hands and dancing in a circle. But first, we must get the band together. So, if you wouldn't mind accompanying me over to the other side's camp to try to recruit that band into our merry little game, and then we can see if we can really get this party going.
Well, hey, I'm being paid either way, aren't I? Might as well have some fun.
Well, I
Well,
surely hope so.
yep. Marco, just roll it for a bit. This one intrigues me, and she's gonna sort of follow up behind you. Where did you say you're from again? I don't know the name.
Oh, Arabia.
What
It-
was that like? I've done a lot of traveling, but I haven't been there yet.
It's actually, I don't know what section of the multi-manifold it is, but I'm always so bad at that part. So I'm constantly hopping. But it's dry, it's warm, filled with sand and all manner of beautiful people and cuisines. Some of the spices that I'm smelling in this camp are reminiscent of home, very warm. Um,
Well, I'll tell you this: Sankari meat is to die for. I personally, I don't handle my spice very well. You can see that there is sort of like a little bit of like non makeup red around the edges of her lips, at the little like drippings of oil. Uh, uh, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but whew, it bites back.
oh, just a little bit of vinegar. That should help. It'll
Keep that in mind.
neutralize the acid.
You know your way around some food. Yeah.
Oh,
And at this point, she's moving with you. I'm gonna quickly jump back to Hayes. Hayes, you have made your way over towards the other camp. There's as you approach, a young boy, probably 9 or 10, sort of runs up to you. He's wearing, again, these sort of like simple white linens. He's wearing a belt with a buckle that has these sort of blue, not even sashes. It's almost like a streamer, like a cut of streamer that is sort of goes over their shoulders. Sort of runs up towards you and well, Mister, you have a you have a beautiful steed. Where's it from?
Uh, any idea, but I know he's a good horse.
You don't know where your horse is from? Where? How did you get him?
Uh, he just came up to me one day. I got lost in the woods, and I just see him in the corner of my eye.
At this, sort of, Roach just sort of snorts a little bit and sort of rubs their nose into your side a couple times. They are a very good beast. And since you are connected, I
Yes.
won't ask for a price. And they scurry along.
Excuse me?
You see an older woman sort of following up. I hope that he did not give you too much trouble. The younger ones are precocious. Who are you? And you don't look black-hearted, do you?
The name's Hayes, and what does that mean, black-hearted? I'm not from here.
Well, she sort of sneers off towards the other side of towards where Justine had sort of wandered off to. Uh, the the company that we share is villainous, to say the least. But you look foreign. Come, well, we welcome. Hayes, and you don't you look a little lost, don't you?
Yes, I'm always lost somewhere, but I find my way around somehow.
Well, I respect your I respect the drift. Come, and she sort of leads you towards the camp. So do you know that my my daughter is to be wed?
Yeah, to that prince fellow, right?
Or you definitely there's a mote of disgust that sort of washes over her face as you even mention it. Yes, unfortunately. It is not for me to tell her who she can and cannot love. I can keep my counsel though. But what do you think?
Well, I
Could you
mean,
and
he's a prince, ain't it? I figure you guys would like the money. They say they come from a good breed, so I don't know. He's a prince.
well, Prince among thieves is still a thief. And she sort of leads you through and sort of brings you over to where you see there's a smattering of food, mostly a good mostly you don't see anything. There's no like a silverware or anything. It's all served in these sort of like effectively like wraps. There's lots of like flatbread as well as like leafy greens that people are just sort of loading food into, wrapping up and eating on the go, talking. Other. Well, it's not every day that newcomers waltz into a wedding. Did the did that Zargadin get you involved?
Maybe. I was just told that I was invited, and I heard that there was some money involved, so I figured I might as well stop by.
She sort of looks to her sides. I'm sure the money can solve. What is it that you do then, friend?
I'm a traveler. I, I take whatever job I can. You can call me a mercenary, some might say. Anything that I can make money off of, any to help me and Roach live our life. We live our lives on the road.
Well, how about this? And again, she's at this point she is wrapping up this sort of like grilled meat with something that kind of looks like hummus, but you're not entirely sure. Smells pretty simple though. And it sort of wraps it up, hands it to you. Well, mercenary is always a good word in my book. I don't see any weapons I'm familiar with on you. Are you a wizard of some sort?
Well, I figured the first thing that would give me away is a horse because anyone around my land knows that you're not a cowboy without a horse, which is what I am, a cowboy.
Would that
You
not
might
make you a
call me
horse
a
boy?
gunslinger.
I your foreign words bewilder me, but you seem capable. She sort of sits down on a small stool. You say you are looking to make money, yes? And that you live on the road. Do you seek a quiet life, or do you seek to travel?
Well, it wasn't my choice to be on the road in the first place, but I've learned to live it.
What if you had a better choice? What if you had, say, a home, a farm, even?
I mean, that sounds nice, but I don't know how to grow potatoes or anything. I'd have to learn first off.
Uh, Justine, it's at this point that you are beginning to walk over to the side of camp. You do see that Hayes is currently talking with this older woman, sort of longish graying hair and instead of two braids that are sort of tied into a small bow behind her head. But yeah, you can sort of clock that that the Hayes is currently having a discussion.
Okay. If I'm not being impeded from entering the camp, I won't be
Nope.
approaching Hayes directly, but if there's a way to get within earshot just to pick up a little bit on what's getting put down before I go hit the band up to see if they're down for a collab. I
Sure,
would like
sure.
to see what I might be able to hear.
Yeah. With the music, it's a little difficult. Where it is nowhere near as sort of harsh as what's on the other side.
Mhm.
But it is it's still music, you know, it's still loud. But you're able to pick up I'll say especially as you're getting closer, you're able to pick up enough. You're getting the rough gist of this conversation. Uh the Hayes, the one you're speaking to says, if money is your interest, then perhaps I have a job for you.
I'm all ears. What sort of job are we talking about?
Well, one that is not savory, unfortunately. But she sort of points off towards the other side. The man that my daughter is of the lowest ilk. His kin are vicious, and they have caused our nation much trouble. If it is money that you seek, will happily pay you to make this wedding go away.
And how do I know that you can match the offer of a prince?
She sort of takes the the necklace that she's wearing off and just sort of holds it out in front of you. You haven't been around a lot of fancy jewelry in your life, but there's a lot of fancy rock that you're looking at right there. You see a large shell, sort of like a scallop shell, that has a set of like 5 brilliant green stones, like gemstones, that are sort of inlaid into it in a small pattern. Is not the only one whose family has money, you see.
Well, we do have a saying back where I come from. It's called "Don't squat with your spurs on," and I ain't got any clue what that saying means, but I think it means ask no questions, shoot first. So, I'm gonna pocket that that necklace, and give her a nod, and then I'm gonna walk away.
All right, cool. Uh, Justine, you are privy to the end of that conversation.
Them. Which direction is my compatriot walking away in? Are you leaving the
Hayes, where you
camp or
heading?
are you going deeper?
I'm going to the red camp now.
Darling, I did not get your name, and I do apologize. I must ask you for quite the favor. Would you be willing to approach the band, throw forth my proposal? I need to stop someone from doing something incredibly stupid.
Well, I can see in your eye this means a lot to you. So yes, but you'll owe me. And she sort of makes her way in towards the Blue Sides band.
I'll drop her a wink. Maybe I can know her
She
that way.
Yeah, she sort of as she definitely does like a light sort of like hair flip in your general direction.
All right, I am in. I'm getting another one for the polycule.
One more.
I think that'll bring us up to like 6.
Yep. Oh god. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, Justine and Claudette have a poly going,
Mm.
so it's all good.
Oh my.
We're just
I didn't hear
continuously
that.
adding to the harem. So yeah, I'm going
That's what
to
these games are about.
exactly. Yeah, I'm going to very quickly, but not look flustered in my movements. Go after Hayes.
Yep. Yep. You make your way over. There, Hayes. With what? How much purpose are you walking?
So I just heard an offer from the red side from the blue side to kill the red. So I'm going over to the red side to see if maybe they will offer me a little more. So probably like, you know, I'm probably heading there with a mission.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll yeah, you're making pace, but just think you're able to catch up. But this is they're getting close to the other side of camp. You're sort of at the like on one half of that sort of like square, you sort of like the square stage that I mentioned.
Okay. And both bands are still playing music, right?
Yes.
As I catch up to Hayes, I grab them and start spinning them as if I'm dancing with them.
All right. Hayes, you feel a hand grab onto yours, and you are brought into. Is this into like ballroom like ballroom position or just
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna force the
Uh,
waltz real quick.
sure. You feel a hand slip into yours, and you are slowly brought towards. Now you see in front of you Justine, who's sort of like pulling you into sort of like a ballroom position, a dance vibe. And even if dancing isn't Hayes's thing, you have the kinesthetics to pretty quickly like feel out the groove that's going on. So you're not thrown off by any measure.
In all of Manifold, do you think you are doing?
Well, the blue side just gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. Let's see if the red will, match that offer.
I don't know that HQ will ever hire you again doing this kind of stunt. I will not stop you from doing whatever it is you think that you're doing, but we are here to ensure that the wedding goes through so this land can know peace.
Justine, I have a question for you.
I'm sure I have answers.
What is it called when a cowboy dies and come back to life?
An idiot, that's what it's called.
Reincarnation. And then I have no intention of reincarnation happening to me. So don't you worry. Your pretty little head
Well,
off. We're gonna get through this real fine.
if there is any fighting and it's because of you, I will not have your back.
That's okay. Roach got my back for me.
Great. On with your business. I've got my own to do. I am instead trying to unite these people. And I bow and go back upon my business.
Oh, sorry, I need a second for reincarnation. Whew.
That was
All
a
right.
good one.
Oh my god. Oh,
That
that
feels
was
like a popsicle
crisp.
stick joke.
Oh, goodness me. Great balls of fire. Whew. I just wasn't expecting that. All right. All right. So, Justine, you start heading back towards the other side. Hayes, you make your way over to the Sincari camp. as you do, there is this again very large, barrel-chested, big-bellied man who sort of stands in front of you as you approach. Who are you?
I'm just here to give my congratulations to the bride or groom.
Okay. He just sort of like points you roughly, and you begin to sort of make your way in. Again, once again, there's people talking, people interacting with each other. No one's really looking the other way, so you're pretty sure no one saw you talking with the woman. And you do see the groom is currently actually sitting alone. He is sat away from everyone else, and he's currently has his hands sort of like his hands wrung, pressing into his sort of the corners of his eye sockets a little bit.
Howdy there, partner. You don't look so happy. Isn't this supposed to be your wedding day?
I'm it is my wedding. It's just there's a lot going on. Uh, Forgive me. I don't believe we've met. Are you one of the musicians?
Well, I have been told that I can't hold a tune to save my life, so I hope not. I am Hayes, and I am here to protect you.
Ah, thank you. I it's good to hear that someone has my interests at heart.
Say,
Welcome.
speaking of your interest, if someone were to say put a bounty on your head, how much would you pay to pay that bounty off? Let's just like give a rough estimate. How much would you pay to save your life? This is just a question I ask at every wedding. Don't mind me.
Uh, there's a pause. Sort of looks you up and down a little.
Yeah, where we come
Some.
from, we call this icebreakers.
Oh, all right. Um, Let me answer your question with a question. Has someone put a bounty on my head?
I wouldn't worry about it. Anyways,
Oh, I, I think, I think this conversation has been wonderful. Thank you for your congratulations on my marriage. I'm going to leave, given that it is my. He's gonna sort of like there's definitely just like a like he is fully on edge talking to you at the moment.
say before you leave, I have a question for you.
I will indulge this one question.
Why was the cowboy sad?
Uh, are the what is a cowboy?
He couldn't giddy up. Anyways, I'm gonna giddy up over in that little corner over there, and you tell me, you let me know how much you would pay to save your life. Just let me know, general icebreaker for the weddings. Don't think too hard about it, but just let me know. And congratulations on your wedding.
Okay. He sort of like waves a little bit. She's to go over to somebody else, very directly point at you and start talking in a hushed tone. You can hear you have decent ears, so you can hear sort of like a Does anyone know who that person is? I, I don't. What are you at? Has someone put a bounty on my head? Am I in danger? What? They sort of look over towards the other side of camp a bit. They wouldn't. They wouldn't dare. At this point, you have stepped away. Justine, you make your way back over to the other side. You do find that the woman that you spoke to is currently talking with the with someone at the someone in the band. They've currently taken a break. There's a moment of silence as they're all chatting a bit. They're not. You can definitely say they're not anywhere as near as tense as like there's no tension between the musicians that you can see as you
Awesome.
approach. Yeah, the woman you spoke to says, "Oh, Justine, welcome. Yeah, please. This is what was your name again, sir? A kind of like a little bit a very like wispy older man, maybe in his like 60s or 50s. But can't really tell. Like it's one of those like might be 90, might be 50, old man, hair loose and white. He does actually has like sort of like proto spectacles on his eyes. So, oh, Jinta, I'm Jinta. Yes, these are my children. Uh, we are the Jinta troop. The Shura here says that you have a proposition to join the bands. No?
Yes. Yes, indeed. I don't think that it's truly a celebration until we can get both parties dancing with one another. I have a simple dance that is easily learned, and I believe that nothing would inspire more than seeing both bands coming together. So,
Uh,
what say you?
Well, I how could I say no? That sounds like a great time. Uh, it
And
might
you
need
said
a
that
minute.
this band is like brass and percussions, right?
So the red side is more brass and
Oh yeah,
percussions.
that's right.
They're
So
a
this
lot more
side is
guttural. This
the
side is a lot more like woodwinds and
woodwinds
strings.
and
They are
strings.
again
Yeah.
like much more like central Mediterranean style like classical era music. Whereas the other is a lot more like North Balkan for if that tracks at all.
Yep. I know the musical stylings. I dance to them both.
Yeah, yeah,
IRL.
me too. not
A lot of
not your
belly
kind dancing.
dance
Your
goes
kind
into
is
it.
awesome and really hard. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, they uh Jiran says sort of well, sure. I was hearing it from over here, and I wanted to approach, but no, we're paid to do our set. So sure. How about we set up in the middle? There's no one's using the space yet, and there's only another 10 minutes or so before the actual ceremony, so we can get a number or two in, eh?
I think that
Shura,
is
who is now she
wonderful.
has been thank you, sorry, yeah, you say Shura, the woman who has now been identified as such. I'll let everyone. This is there's been tension, and no one told us, no one told me why, at least. But this definitely is a good way to break it. We'll be right back. And she sort of zips away. Jiren sort of gathers people. He starts speaking in another language. It's very like dental, very forward at the mouth. As they all sort of like nod and listen. They start picking up their instruments and walking over towards him. The people all start being like, "Where's the music going?"
Ah,
So
I'm
you've got some
stealing it.
people looking your way. It's at this that as the sort of musicians start moving their way over, it takes a little bit. You do see that Hayes, were you exiting the camp on your side? or were you just like
No,
vibing?
I was vibing. I picked a corner. I took Roach. You know, got him an apple.
There's no apple. You find the closest thing, not fruit you recognize, but you give it, and it's a bit softer than an apple, and it does have a pit. So like Roach gives a couple nibbles, and it's sort of like. But yeah, so yeah, Justine, I'm gonna say you wouldn't actually see Hayes as the yeah from where you are, but you do see that you as this side's band begins to sort of make its way over. Shura has like sprinted over. Hayes, you see that the leader, this sort of woman with longish black hair, sort of runs over to the band, starts yelling at them. They all sort of just nod or shake their heads. Yeah. And you see some of them start like picking up their instruments and marching towards the middle of the space. To which a lot of people start yelling very angrily. You see one of them actually like hawks like a little like leg of lamb, just like sort of stuff. Any actions from your end? This is going
I'm just enjoying the show, so no.
all right. Yeah, you're vibing. You're in the corner. There are a couple people whose eyes are trained on you, by the way. Uh, they both they're both very what's the best way to call it? Well-built individuals, both of whom are armed. They don't have pistols. Again, very Bronze Age here. So they both are sort of standing off to the side a bit, but they're keeping eyes on you. They both are carrying long spears. But that's all that's going on your end.
I'm gonna turn to Roach and I'm gonna, talk to him for a bit. I'm gonna say, man, Roach, this party's kinda lame. I feel about as welcome as a rattlesnake at a square dance.
No, he gives you a little bop a couple times. So yeah, Justine, gonna jump back to you real quick. Uh, the two bands are convening, and both sides, are interested. You see at this point that the employer, Zargadin, actually is walking up to you. He's like, so, we're putting on a show today.
Why, yes, Prince Godin. I actually wonder if you would be willing to help me.
By all means. He sort of puffs up his chest a bit, and you do see he's not you know though he seems to be a pompous dick. He's definitely not a slacker. Like he's well built, and he is in sort of like dr- formal but travel gear. It's kind of hard to say, but he has like leather soled boots that do look relatively easy to. Whatever you need from me, happy happy to lend a hand. You've got something planned.
Indeed, I do. How are you with keeping time with music?
Uh, I had to learn how to do many dances since I was but 2 years old. So decent.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Justine reaches into her skirt of many pockets and pulls out 2 pairs of zills. Have you ever played these?
He sort of looks at it. He sees you sort of like miming it a bit, and he sort of gives it a ting, ting. Oh, and you strap it to here. Yes, I have not had the pleasure. I've played something similar with shells, but I could probably give it a go.
I would like for you to help me and the band. We'll be dancing. I'll also want you to be playing those when it feels right, but in time, um, helping to harmonize the melody between the two seemingly discordant um, factions here. What I'll be doing first is having you stand, and she shows him like a quick, almost Dobke step. So it's
Mhm.
like a step, cross, step, step, cross, step, step,
Yeah.
cross, step. And while you're doing that, I am going to drag people out of their opposing camps. And we are going to do a circle dance to show that we can all be united and to really get the spirit of unity going here at this joyous celebration of putting the past aside and coming together
Well,
in love.
that is poetic. Let's do it. And he sort of like claps his hands together. And he sort of, you see him practice the step like a couple times, sort of matches the way your posture shifted, like the way you dip. Okay. All right. Yeah. I got it. I got it. Yes. And at this point, the band is set up. They're all sort of, they're all right. They're talking to each other. They're still set up kind of on opposing sides to a degree, but they're pretty. They're like like one part of the band, one band here, the other band here, but they're still like this. So
Yeah.
you see that the two leaders, Shura and Jiren, are both sort of looking over towards you, just like a.
So I'll go over to them real quick and tell them go ahead and intermingle so the sound sounds more cohesive. We don't need to be so separate. Put a couple of the woodwinds and strings over on this side with the drummer and some of the horns over here, but a little bit further back so they're not so overpowering. The shells will go with the horns. It's a nice complement. I'm going to be asking for throat singing, and I will give you a signal when we are about to start, if that's okay with everyone.
Shura sort of nods. All right. Yes, might need you to at least start conducting us a bit. We don't not used to playing with these fellows. The both bands sort of like
I don't know this style. I don't know that style.
yeah.
So I'll lay out the basic timing, the basic beat, and just encourage
They're
them to
all
find the
trained
melody amongst
musicians.
themselves.
Uh, they all sort of agree to this ad hoc jam session.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, this is what we like to see. And they all sort of like play a little bit of something at each other. It's just like a little testing the grounds. They've decided they decide on a rhythm. They all sort of look to you. Zargadin is sort of standing at the ready. He's taken off his gloves. Very a posture you'd see of someone who has no clue what about the roots of what they're trying to do, but like it's like they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
I'll be fine. It'll all work out. All right. As I turn my back on the band, um, I'm going to find some random people that are close enough to the edges of the different camps, and I am going to bodily drag them to the center.
You you do this as the music starts. As the first thing to hit are the drums. You get they sort of like like doom tack tack doom tack tack doom tack doom tack tack doom tack tack doom tack kind of
Perfect.
vibe going, and this sort of like this nice pulse begins to build, which is followed up by just sort of on those solid downbeats all the musicians play. It's at first it's a little like, but then they all start finding a little bit of a groove as one person gets a little bit more confident, another person sort of adds to it, and it becomes this sort of weirdly enough, it kind of gets a little klezmery. like in just it's more on those on the rhythm hits as as musicians start to play, and the people all watching sort of like you know they're not used to they're used to the music they're used to. You could definitely tell that what was being played was their cultural music. So this new fusion, there's definitely some surprise at. The first person you approach, any preferences on what they look like, size, anything? Just grab hand go.
Grab hand, go.
Grab hand go. All right, first person you grab is a sort of younger woman, maybe like the closest cultural equivalent to a bridesmaid, who has no clue what's going on as you just grab her and pull her in. Everyone is looking at this interaction here as you grab one person, and then next person, where you grab them. Are you staying with the familiar or instantly getting someone else?
Instantly getting someone else. Different camp.
Okay. With that, as you drag you, uh, there's uproar isn't the right word for it, but there is a bit of a sort of like an aghast look as you drag this one younger woman, this other sort of like middle-aged gentleman, and you sort of bring them together. At this point, Zargadine sort of puts himself not sort of opposite you, so that they don't really have a space that there isn't like an open neutral space, and sort of follows what you showed him, trying to sort of almost initially lead this in, as you do get these two people on either side of you initially to start dancing together as the music is building. The band is big, it's new. There's this beam of sunlight that is beginning to pour down to right at the center, into the center of this larger stage.
Okay. As they get going, I want to keep
Yeah.
dragging more people in until we have enough people to form a full circle to go around the like ceremonial vow space, the altar. That's the word for it.
Gotcha. Great. Gonna before anything, I'm gonna jump back to Hayes for a second. Hayes, uh, so you're paying enough attention. You have enough sensory to pick out pretty much everything that's going on here. You do see, you see the bands of coalesce. You find this new music that hadn't been being played. It is loud. It is bombastic. It's energetic. And you see Justine start drag people from opposite sides towards each other. Immediately upon seeing that, you see a couple people start to like really start talking to each other in like a very serious, very focused way. What would you like to?
I'm going to take my duster and I'm going to see if I can, sneak forward and listen in closely to their conversation.
Yep. As you approach, the duster, is able to sort of conceal you. The people who were watching you, this was a little bit too disruptive. They are focused in on what Justine has sort of corralled. As you sort of pop your collar and slowly and quietly move your way closer towards the circle, you come to this group of about 3 older men. Sorry, I got a bourbon. Who again, this is still on the Sincari, the red side, or sort of in hushed and not hushed enough that not too hushed as they can't be heard of the music otherwise, but are speaking very very quickly to each other. Who's this woman? I saw her walking around earlier, but I don't know who she is. Can't she's not from the dancers. She's not from the musicians. Maybe it was that targeting brought her. Cares who she is. This can't be happening. They are our sworn enemies. Right. We can't let this go on any further. We have to find a way to stop this. They sort of look about. You see one of them sort of motions and like towards the 2 people who had been keeping their eye on you. who begin to sort of make their way in towards the circle, bodies at the ready.
Do they look like they're about to start a fight?
This is the motion of two people who are about to do something. It definitely doesn't look like they're about to join. They're moving towards the people who are talking.
The people who were watching me before, they were on the red side, right? And I'm
Correct.
trailing the blue right now.
No, you're still on the red side because you sort of pulled off to the corner.
Yeah, it was the blue
they-
side that hired you to try to kill the prince from the red side.
Yes.
So the red are trying to kill the blue right now.
Right now, you see two of the I guess the guard for the wedding retinue who are making their way towards the person who just waved them down, the person you're currently listening in on. Who just
I
finished
am
saying,
going-
"We need to do something. We need to break this up."
I'm going to they can't see me because of my duster, but I'm going to
Yeah, right now, you're keeping very, very, very quiet and hidden.
I'm going to step right in front of them and like take off my duster and say, I'm gonna have to stop you right there, partner. You can't go any further.
You sort of stepping out. I have a question. Would you like to activate one of the gunslinger abilities called standoff?
Yes. Hell yes.
All right. I just felt it was very fitting. And since this is your first time, I figured I definitely prompt that there. You sort of stand in front as you activate your standoff as these two people that were definitely about to be disruptive elements pause, stop in their tracks, look between each other. We have our orders. Let us pass.
Well, you see, I have my orders too, and that is to protect the people at this wedding. So if you're planning on doing something to disrupt this beautiful evening, I'm gonna have to stop you right there and tell you to walk away.
You see, both of them are trying to move forward. Every muscle in their body is telling them, "Hey, take that step." But your standoff, your cool demeanor, the way it's slid out in front of them, they ain't going nowhere. Justine, it's at this point that you do have a decent sized circle going. A couple more people are starting to fizzle in, and at this point, the attitude that is sort of of the room is shifted. You can you can sort of get the vibe that some of the bad blood here is
Is getting shimmied out.
yeah, that bad blood was kind of disseminated by certain individuals and just life of the party to strange things to the mind. As people are just seeing everyone starting to have a good time and see everyone loosening up. There's still tension. You can definitely tell that like the people who have been put next to the people from the who are not theirs, there's definitely discomfort.
And that was my intention, was to alternate camps so that way no one is next to anyone that they already know. I
They're
want
all
them to be in the timeout shirt that we all saw like a few years ago all over the internet. Yeah,
Yep.
they're in a giant
Yeah.
timeout shirt.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it. So again, you've got let's say to like get around this page, you probably at this point you have about like 20 25-ish total.
Heck yeah.
And they all, they all seem, some of them having a bit more trouble here and there picking up the dance that you have sort of presented. So you do see some sort of personal stylings are beginning to come out. Some people are being a lot more fluid and a lot more sort of like skippy. Other people are being a lot more rigid, a lot more like low to the ground, earth. But they're not rushing away from each other. You do see as you're sort of you're spinning about as well, still trying to draw people. You do see that Hayes is currently standing in front of two armed warriors. They are not. So you're able to clock what they're doing as well. Anything else? What else would you like to add as you're sort of guiding this whole thing? So I'll let you send it.
So make my way over to Zargradine and ask, dear Prince, would it be extremely uncouth of me to dance with the sword upon the altar space, not necessarily on the altar, but where, in the center of this large circle that we've built?
He sort of pauses for a moment, looks up towards the sky, and you can see that they're like the point at which the large circle, the sort of like cut out of from the ceiling, effectively. You see this, the sun is slowly positioning to be pretty much dead center above it. Not for not for another 2 minutes or so.
Okay. With that, Justine's going to make her way into the center and give out the absolute loudest Zagarit of her life.
Oh yeah, this is
And
everyone.
all eyes, baby. And as I am letting that out, lifting my sword high so that it catches the sun and glints off, with the aim of directing the light into the eyes of the people that are having their standoff with my compatriot.
Yep. Yeah, you know what? I love that. That's phenomenal. As you sort of posture yourself, you to do this, you do have to sort of, but you do get that direct glint. You can see it sort of pan across their eyes as Hayes, the two people in front of you, you see a sort of, not a direct beam, but that little reflection spot of something shiny reflecting the sun sort of press against their faces, and they sort of they take a couple steps back. You feel the force, that push from standoff really holding back. This light is sort of adding fuel to that fire. Anything you'd like to do on your end? Quick note on standoff: if you take any directly aggressive actions, it will end.
Does this include aggressive words like threatening?
Nope, action specific.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take advantage of their inability to see, and I'm going to tell them. Now, you see here, I got 6 bullets in my gun, my revolver, and there are 2 of you. Now, if you take one more step, there's a possibility that one of those 6 bullets are going to land in one of your organs. And I've been told I'm a mighty good shot. So you might want to rethink your plan here before things turn real nasty.
They both. Now you're aware that so far, every time you've mentioned that you are a gunslinger or that you have a gun, people have looked at you like you have a cat on your head. This time, though, you literally know they don't know what that means. Just like they don't know what's going on. But they know not to push it. As they sort of, you see their demeanors relax a little bit. One of them sort of gulps back. All right. Fine. All right. And they just take a step. Justine. At this point, you see two new people enter the circle. They are they are a man and a woman. One wearing a veil, the other wearing a large golden pauldron. From opposite sides. You see both the bride and groom have their circle.
Can the band see me?
Yes, you are the center of attention.
So I'm going to signal to the band. What I'm hoping is an interdimensional sign for bring the tempo, bring the beat down. Let's make it soft and smooth and pretty.
They start to rein it in. They keep the it's luckily they were playing it was a slowish, like 3. So they start making it softer. The drums become a little less prevalent. The the strings and the woodwinds start to shine through more, and are sort of padded out by the brass. They're following your cues. You've got the conductor's wand.
So as it starts softening, Justine will start doing kind of like a whirling dervish type of move with her sword, moving the sword from above her head as she's spinning down, 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 around, and back into its sheath when she's finally done spinning and comes out into a bow before our honored guests, welcoming them to the ceremony space. And as she comes up from her bow, again, making another one of the loudest soggerettes of her life so that it kind of reverberates off of the walls here.
There's good acoustics here. Oh, your timing is fun. That's so beautiful. As you do, that last bit of sunlight sort of perfectly sets upon that sort of altar space that was set up before. The glint off of your the glint off of all the shiny things on you, from the coins across your skirt to the sword that you have, even any rings that you're wearing, all of it.
Oh yeah,
just sort of glows out as you in your bow. You feel this is a weird thing for you to see, because as you sort of bow down, you're sort of looking at the ground in front of you, and you see what I can only describe as the opposite of a shadow, as the light in a very specific shape becomes brighter and brighter. It's the silhouette, or I guess whatever the light version of a silhouette is,
Afterbird?
of a being.
Is it Afterbird?
Maybe afterburn, sure, it works for me. You do turn and you do see that they're in this sort of pillar of light that has formed through from from the opening above. There is a form, sort of almost held with. It is humanoid. It is simple otherwise, but it is human. Does look. There are wisps of all like phosphenes that effectively form this sort of long hair, and you see that that parts of it so almost look like hands are outstretched to either side. At which point, Zargadin sort of strides up to you, like in time with the dance that is still going on, and says, "The ceremony is about to take place. I suggest stepping to the side a bit. It's magics I can't understand." As he then motions with a click from the two. I'm forgetting the name of gave him. I know what they are. I've just forgotten their. The symbols.
Zills.
Zills. Thank you. He sort of uses the zills to motion towards the bride and groom as they sort of are a little bit at awe and begin sort of approaching the altar in front of Hayes. Actions from your end. You feel that the standoff is over and you have won. What would anything that you would like to be doing as these two have just sort of backed? You can hear that there's sort of an awe going on. You hear the shift in the music from this sort of center stage.
I guess I'm gonna go towards the action.
Sure. As you turn, you do yeah, you see this as well. There is a pillar of light in which the light is sort of coalescing around a humanoid form. This, whatever your wheelhouse is, this ain't it. As you sort of are stunned for just a moment, peering at this. The bride and groom make their way towards the altar, and at which Zargadin sort of speaks out. As the two of you have your own customs, I figured no better way to bring your families to union with one that none of us share. The ancestors of the people that lived in Conduit many, many eons ago would brought themselves to be wed here under the auspice of something.
They didn't tell
I
me
felt-
that God was officiating this wedding.
If the two lovers would place a drop of blood into the bowls in front of them, he sort of pulls out a small, it is a dagger made of stone. The same stone that the caryatids around the place, the area here are made of. And it has a very small, like little groove almost at the tip, at its tip. He hands it to a woman first. This Hayes, you notice that there is some movement going on a little bit further on the other side of it. You can't see exactly what, but you do see that there's some shuffle.
I guess I'll go see what that shuffling is about.
Yep.
I'm
You want to
gonna take.
go around?
Yes, I'm gonna take advantage of my trusty duster once again. Before I do anything.
Like smoke, you drift around as there's already a great deal of motion. You sort of, you make your way about, I'd say, a third of the way around the circle before you do notice that there's, a few people who are talking. However, one of them, and you see one of them is the woman who tried to purchase your services prior. You can see that she is sort of looking about, sort of speaking very intently with a man that looks about her. They both look frazzled, they both look startled, and they both look very unhappy.
Do I, with my like sensory, do I notice anything like wrong that they might like be on edge about? Besides, of course, the wedding.
Nothing specific. You notice that the woman is pointing her nuts, or where it was, quite a lot.
Oh, okay.
So you think she might be talking about you.
I'm gonna get a little closer to hear what they're talking about. My ears are burning. I gotta hear what they're talking about.
Back to the middle. Zargadin has handed the blade to the woman. Again, her name is Frenis, who takes the blade somewhat gingerly and looks to him for a little bit of sort of like, and he just sort of mimes just a little, just sort of. She nods, takes the blade in her hand, nicks the tip of her, deposits a small drop of blood into the bowl in front of her. She then passes it back to him, passes the knife back. Hayes, you've made it close enough now that you can start to hear us. Pretty much no one else is talking, and then Justine will get to you just after that. You sort of get close enough to the conversation here. Again, this is still the woman. This is the woman now speaking. I don't know where he could have gone. We were speaking, and he seemed trustworthy. I gave him my beats, and then he was gone. What moved over there? I haven't seen him since. The man sort of responds. Well, at this point, what can we do? What am I going to do? I'm not going to rush in there. Please, we have to. We can't let this happen. At which point, she, she sort of wrings her head in her hands and looks to him and says, "Give me your dagger." Justine, what would you like to do as the ceremony is occurring?
I am keeping an eye out on the perimeter to make sure that nobody is going to try busting into this happy little circle that I built around the altar.
Yeah. People are, by the way, everyone has stopped dancing, but they are all still holding
Yes.
hands. It's very kumbaya. It's very cute.
I'm on a peacekeeping mission.
Yeah. Hey, not only are you keeping peace, you are peace. That's how it should be. Yeah, you begin to sort of keep an eye. Anything else you'd like to do during that? Any postural changes? You're sort of like in the middle of this circle at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep everything seemingly chill, but I am definitely ready to move at a moment's notice. And actually, I want to scan the circle one more time because I felt that I saw a familiar face. Da-da. We've got that wanderer ability.
You've got 3 luck. Who did you think you saw?
Well, I thought I saw one of the muscle mommy bodyguards from a previous club. Her name was Zaire. Tall, dark-haired, broad of shoulder, muscle mommy.
So you're trying to use familiar face to pull someone from another instance in this. I love that. And it's very fitting with everything that's going on. It's not normally what that can do, but you know what? Let it slide. As you do see, clad in red and purple robes, though they definitely look like loners as they're kind of splitting at the seams around the shoulders. A woman matching a very familiar description. You didn't recognize her at first because her hair was up. And she's currently in your circle and sort of smiling and looking on at all this. As you look at her, she makes eye contact. And there's that moment of realization. And she just sort of smiles.
So I drop her one of Justine's trademark winks, blow her a soft kiss, and then kind of motion her with my head to get closer to me. So I don't have to yell.
Yeah. She nods and sort of. She effectively, she kind of like belays herself through the chain of through the circle that you've made, like sort of like passing one hand to another as she gets a little bit closer to your side. Hayes, back to you real quick. You just heard what you just heard. Actions.
So I have a question out of character for
Yeah.
for the DM. Um, essence. I know that standoff has like a high essence amount.
Yes.
Would I be able to use a different ability with low
Yes.
essence? Okay.
Absolutely.
So has the woman
no doubt about
got the
that.
knife yet?
She's not yet. The man she's talking to is visibly stunned by this request, and sort of, you can't be serious. The ramifications alone. She says, I don't care. After all that they've done, I do not want anything to do with them, let alone to see them in our daughter's eyes. I can't let that happen. If you will not have a spine enough to do it, but I will. Give it to me. He's not even looking at you, and you see his face go pale. He sort of nods a little and starts reaching down towards his right, where you do see there is a very simple holster, very simple little hilt of a small blade.
Okay. As he is like handing it over to her before like he does, I want to use trick shot, or well, I think that's what it's called.
That is the ability.
Yep.
And I want to once again take off my duster to reveal myself. And I'm going to say before I shoot, it doesn't take a spine to kill another man. It takes a coward. And I'm going to like try and like ricochet the bullet off the ground to hit the knife so that like it flies off.
Oh, with that delivery, you step forward. Suddenly, everyone know. Like, you went from, even Justine didn't know where you were. Like, you were gone to the world. You're also pretty sure that Roach has lost you and is having a small panic. But that, besides the point, you step forth for just a moment, draw very cleanly from your holster, fire off one bullet. It hits the ground, sort of in the middle of this whole space. The echoes of the sound of gunfire ripple out like some sort of divine percussion as it shoots and ricochets off the ground, bouncing into the blade as it is being drawn. As the blade flies into the air and embeds itself into the stone of one of the caryatids, one of the pillars.
All right. While everyone is still stunned.
Everyone is like, huh, what the?
While everyone is still stunned, I want to take my hat. I want to take it off, and I'm going to turn to the woman, take out the jewelry that she gave me, and throw it towards her. And I'm gonna say, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm gonna have to refuse your offer. Kindly."
I'm gonna say, just from the distance, this is. Do you want to throw it so that it like would hit her, or do you want to throw it in front of her?
I want to throw it in front of her, not like at her.
You throw it in front of her, and the shell that is the main element of this of this jewelry does crack in half, or it is a shell. And that statement is punctuated. This, Justine, anything you want to do while that happens?
Well, now that Zaire is next to me, I'm
Yep.
just filling her in on all of the goings on while I'm squeezing your hand, and a couple of times raising it as I'm squeezing it to give the back of her hand a couple of quick little kisses.
She sort
Zaire,
of rests her chin just a little bit on the top of the head from just.
yeah, she is a massive woman.
She built.
Just
I
like
don't
I
know
like
her, but
'em.
she built.
Yeah. So yeah, Justine tells her, I need you to guard me like you did back at the club. And more than just me, we must make sure that these vows are sealed so that this marriage may be consummated and peace can finally rule. I've heard what's been going on with these two tribalistic factions, and after all of this is done and over, you are going to have to tell me how you found yourself here.
She sort of. Yeah, she holds your hand with only a force that she could impart. Just sort of gives it a single solitary squeeze, and just whispers into your ear. It'll be a fun story. At this point, you hear a small. You look over and you see that man who I've already forgotten the job. You see that Monsis has
Monsis.
also drawn the blade across his finger. Has deposited a small drop into the bowl in front of it. As it does, the pillar, the sort of column of light that they're currently standing in begins to shimmer for a moment. This light bit of almost sunset hue ripples up. And the column starts to fade. The sun moves past. There's a moment of silence. Then Zargadin steps forward and, clapping his hands, surprising himself as he forgot that he had the zills on his finger. So the clap is punctuated with a tee. That's not the amount of force you want to put into it. It's very dull. Just says, "Congratulate the newlyweds!" And there's a moment of, yay, yay, some confusion. You hear some crying. You hear some weeps. You hear at least one person faint. But the couple approach, clasp hands. And Hayes, I don't think Hayes remembers when it happened. But at some point the Enclave sent him a letter. And in that letter was a small badge. And he remember he was told that it would help him get to HQ and all this. He didn't put much stock in it, pocket. For out of nowhere he feels a beating, almost like a small heart in his chest. As that same Enclave badge has currently manifested and is pulsing. As you feel like it's ready to take you home. And Justine, you know what this feels like.
Quick question, just for some flavor. Can this badge
Mhm.
be like a little, little like a cowboy badge? Like those little like stars.
I'll say that you've modified yours and sort of like put it on one. It's about it's a circle. As it sort of sets in. I'll say sure, why not?
Okay, thank
It's
you.
customizable
Yeah,
it's customizable.
flavor.
It's
You know.
canon, canon event.
Yep. Am I able to see Hayes through the throng at this point?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. When he fired that shot, yeah, you know exactly where he is.
So I'm gonna Zagarete, and hopefully Hayes recognizes it as me and turns around.
Hayes, you do hear a very loud yip, which you've heard Justine make before. That's very unmistakably her thing.
I'm gonna tell her. I told you nobody was gonna die tonight. It ain't time for reincarnation.
Dear Hayes. Now, you were an interesting first time for me. If you feel that little beat from your badge, mount up on Roach, press it, and you'll both be teleported back to HQ. You'll be debriefed, and you'll get your money. I'm going to stick around for a while. My friend, Zaire.
She's standing right behind you. It has now gone from hand to hand. Her arm is draped over your shoulder. You're sort of nestled into the crook of her bicep and her elbow.
Yeah.
She's tall.
We are snuggling, standing up.
Oh yeah.
Zaire and I have quite the catching up to do, so I'm not quite ready to return to HQ as of yet. Although, if you feel comfortable staying and enjoying the rest of the party, I do believe that we would be welcome. Though, I saw what you did over there. Good on you. You made the right decision.
It wasn't very hard when I saw God himself at this party.
Yes, that did seem to be a god of some sort. It was beautiful. You should have been closer, but I am glad that you were preventing anything from interrupting the ceremony.
I'm going to once again take off my hat, and it was a pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
I'm sure we'll be working together again soon.
Now, if you pardon me, I got a prince to find.
Okay, well, you enjoy that. If you're looking for the one who hired us, he's 2 steps to the right.
He's literally like right there, just looking at you two have this interaction.
So, is this the same guy that I had talked to earlier?
This is Zargadin. Zargadin is the guy who asked you to come and help. If you're talking about the prince who you asked what it would take to outpay a bounty on his head, he's currently with his new wife.
Okay, well, I want to talk to him.
You can go approach him. I won't stop you.
So I'm gonna approach the prince.
Yep. As you start approaching him, he does sort of like notice you approach. Eyes go bug wide and sort of like looks around for a second. It's like, hey, can I help you? Kind of in the middle of something.
Yeah, congratulations. I just came to see if you had an answer yet to my earlier question.
No. My answer is no.
No what?
No. You asked me what I would pay to overturn a bounty on my head? My answer is no.
That's a good answer. Congratulations on your wedding. And I'm gonna just leave.
Thank you. Goodbye. Does anyone
Bye.
know who that person is? Do we know who he is? How did he shoot fire from a tube? But
All right, I'll see the person who assigned the mission now.
yep. He's currently standing, Justine and Zaire. Anyway, you know, not sure what I expect. Uh, you make a lot, pointing to Justine, you make a lot of sense. Points to Hayes as Hayes is reapproaching. Still not sure about this one.
Well, take it up with the HQ. They're the ones who assign us, and apparently the tacticians thought that we would be a good blend. We're unconventional, but I think we worked well.
You did better than I could have alone. I could only get so far. But thank you. Truly, this... I had my own motivation, sure, but this was a good thing. Now, hopefully, now that this initial tension has subsided and people talk to one another, maybe I can get some food. Haven't eaten in the day, so
No.
please stay for the refreshments. Everything's delicious. I hear the Sincari meat is quite good.
Would that be the spiced meats, or was that
Yes.
the lettuce
This,
wraps?
the lettuce wraps is quite alright too. I don't like the sauce personally, but no. The spiced meat. Yes, initially they cook it in flames under the ground and then smoke it under with these spices. It's very interesting. Not anything I've ever done personally, but yeah, I need something. I've been talking a lot and not doing much with it, so. Is this your? Do you know this person? Points to Zaire, who's again just sort of looming over you.
Oh, this is my dear love, Zaire. We go way back.
Oh, an honor to me.
Zaire?
Zaire just sort of like looks down at him.
Prince Zargrazin.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Your Majesty. If you excuse me, I have some business to. And sort of like drifts away, sort of like eating Annie here. Right, that happened. He goes back in towards the. And with that, unless there are any other final action, I believe we.
Wait.
Y'all. Waiting.
I have a final. So I am going to. I'm going to say, let's roll, and then I'm gonna turn around and say, cowboys don't roll, they tumble. And I'm gonna like put my fingers up to my mouth, my lips, and whistle to call Roach, and get on my horse and ride off into the sunset.
I can't do a horse noise. I shouldn't have tried. As Roach does gallop over, flustering a couple alpacas. You hop on, you ride out. You actually find the entrance to how everyone got in, and you go off into the sunset. You go off into a wild jungle with one path in it, and it is very humid. But you do ride off the sunset. With that, this mission. Oh boy, y'all scared me for a minute there.
Yeah.
I was really worried, and then I was less worried, and then you did something I wasn't expecting. I had prepared so much, like, why these people were fighting lore, but hey, you know what? Just remember at home. Doesn't matter how much we fight. Music and dance brings us all together.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the shit.
And cowboys.
and cowboys. I'm still not over you kind of maybe threatening the groom, but hey, you know what? Worked for me. Thank you again, everyone, for letting me be on and run this. I don't know, I tried to keep it as close to time as I could. But yeah, thank you out there on Twitch for watching us here playing Enclave with Dice Dragons Guild. Happens every now and then. Hopefully, it'll happen more. See some familiar faces, new faces, all that jazz.
So tonight we'll be rating Gnome Anne. So stick around, viewers, so we can have a nice rating party.
Solid.
And didn't mean to derail you there. I'm just watching the chat.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, well, I can close us out if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. I got one quick little shout out is that Robbie and myself, we are doing another Enclave Day, which is a day where if you haven't played the game before and you're seeing this, you can play it in the day for free. This is going to be on August 3rd. I think there's a link for it somewhere in the chat or in the description. But yeah, we put out a PDF that you can use for free for the day. We have multiple different people running sessions all throughout the day. Again, August 3rd, pretty much 24 hours. So check us out on Enclave Day. We're also going to be at a couple cons in the future. We'll be at Necronomicon up here in New England, and Retro World as well. August 15th and 18th Necronomicon, and August 23rd to 26th for Retro World. That's all I got.
We do have some links in the chat for the YouTube for Robbie, the Robbie Lava Games, as well as the Discord invite. So if anyone is interested in joining Enclave Day, those links are there for you to use, not just to look at. Thank you, Lee, this evening for being our conduit. This was amazing having you on the other side of the virtual story here.
This was really fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad to have your first time. So many first times today.
Yeah. And thank you, Mo, for playing with us. Hopefully I didn't traumatize you.
No, it was very funny. I loved it.
So both of you feel free to let people know where they can find you on the interwebs if you like people social media stalking you. If you don't, tell them to screw off and to have a great night, whatever. And then I'll finish closing us out.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really do much outside of Enclave, but yeah, thank you for having me. Do check us out. If you somehow find me, we can hang out, I guess. I don't know how. I'm not really online much. But thank you again.
Yeah, I am doing a bit of rebranding at the moment, but I do plan on streaming and making more YouTube videos. You can find me at Mo Ellis TV. And hopefully I can bring more fun times and play more Enclave Day, and all that, because this was really fun and I loved it and I want to play more.
Woo! That's what I like to hear.
And I have been your West Coast Dice Dragons Guild representative, Cheese Cat. I'm Cheese Cat on most socials, and it's cat with a K because I don't like the way my C's look. You can find me coming up at Gen Con August 1st through 4th. I will be cosplaying our resident tiefling bard, Isla Myrea. So look out for pictures on our Discord of that. Those are going to be some Discord only pictures. Those will not be posted to Twitter or my TikTok. We have Dice Dragons Guild on Sundays. So Sunday, I believe we should have game coming, and that'll be fantastic if people decide to tune in and watch. Other than that, I want to thank everyone for the great time tonight. It was good getting back into Justine's skin, and we will see you sometime in August. And with that, bye, kids.
Bye.
Bye.
do this at Discord sometimes. It makes hearts now. I don't know.